So you are loved. I'll tell you a tiny little story before I start. My first round of ministry studies was mid-90s, and I forget the name of the priest that was in charge of the class. And its assignment was to construct a prayer with music and to bring it in for everybody, and you were supposed to form your own kind of prayer ritual for class. Kind of interesting you told me about yours not too long ago, because I had to do something similar. And I brought a song in similar to this, and the poor man, I remember him saying, that was a really loud prayer. So I'm glad I finally found a place that I can pray loud. That's great. So you are loved, and this whole month is about comfort in that love, and not just physical comfort, but spiritual comfort. And what does that mean for us? There is a movie on Netflix, and I've seen it before, but if you have Netflix, find it and watch it. It's called The Bucket List. It has Morgan Freeman and Jack Nicholson. And it's absolutely fabulous, especially considering this topic, that two gentlemen, I'll just give you a synopsis because I really want you to watch it. Two gentlemen find themselves in a hospital room together, both with cancer diagnosis. And so they go through treatment together, the sickness part of the chemo together, and they get to know each other. And one of them is very, very wealthy. In fact, he owns the hospital. But because his viewpoint has always been cutting corners for hospitals and two people to a room no matter what, he has to stay in a room with somebody else, even though that's foreign to him, because he has a lot of money and he can really do whatever he wants. And the other gentleman in the room chose to take a job as a mechanic, even though he's brilliant, absolutely brilliant, so that he could take care of his children and offer them what he could not offer himself. So these two gentlemen get to know each other, and because of their diagnosis, they decide to travel together, and they have a bucket list. They have what they would like to experience. And some is just downright, I'm going to jump out of an airplane. And some of it is, I want to laugh so hard till I can cry. And they manage together to find comfort in a human experience that they didn't have on their own, which is amazing to think that two people that are totally opposite in every way can bring out that spiritualness in each other and that comfort that you can live to your fullest, and also take that into, and they have lots of conversations about what's after, and they're on total opposite sides of the pole for that too. And yet they can have the conversations and get along and bring this total comfort for their situation out in each other. And again, we do that for each other in ways that maybe we don't understand. And it's in the choosing. It's in the choosing. So how do we choose to do that? I was listening to, I'll come back, Alan Watts. I almost lost his name for a minute. I was listening to Alan Watts. And if you've not listened to him, there's lots and lots of lectures you can find online. But he was talking about the Zen, and how Zen really is finding that comfort zone no matter where you are. It doesn't matter. You are fully, really present for wherever you're at, and you choose to be comfortable in that, even if you're wet and cold and whatever. If there's a physical discomfort, even if the person is on the other side of an opinion of you, you choose to stay comfortable that you are you, and you still have divine light in you, and they have divine light in them, and you know that you can be comfortable with that, and be in that, and be totally present in that. There was a point, I put the Luke verse on here for you, in the story where Jesus is being asked lots of questions by the Pharisees of the time. And what does he really believe? And where is his line of thought coming from? And they want to know, at this part of the story in Luke, where is the kingdom of God and where is it coming from? And where do we find it? And are you part of that or not? And what's going on here? And what is it that you're really saying? And he says, in the quotes here, the kingdom of God never comes by watching for it. We cannot say, look, here it is, or there it is. And there's a part in the bucket list where they're looking for the most perfect spot to have the most perfect experience. That's part of the bucket list. And there's a destination in mind, but I'm going to leave that out because you got to go watch the movie. And how do we find that? Do we have to go to a certain place, a certain location? Do we need to sit with certain people or a certain religious sect? Or, do we need to eat a certain kind of food or have a certain kind of diet or have a certain political bent? Where is it? Where are we going to find it? And Jesus said, it's inside of you. You can't go find it. It's already there. You have it in you and you see it in each other. Basically, get over yourselves already. It's not one particular ritual that gets you there. It's whatever ritual brings that out in you. You find it. You find what works for you, and then you share that with somebody else. Ralph Waldo Emerson was a poet. And again, you can find his works. But I'm going to read a section of one of his poems for you for the prayer for the day. He says, write it on your heart that every day is the best day in the year. He is rich who owns the day, and no one owns the day who allows it to be invaded with fret and anxiety. Finish every day and be done with it. You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities, no doubt, crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day. Begin it. I lost my spot, I'm sorry. Begin it with will and serenity, with too high a spirit to be encumbered with your nonsense. This new day is too dear, with its hopes and invitations to waste a moment on yesterdays. Don't waste a moment on yesterdays. Do it today. Be who you are today. I know it take a fair amount of time. I actually block off time in my calendar to not work, to be with kids. It's got to that point in my life where I actually schedule in. You're allowed to take care of yourself and your kids now. Go do something fun and just block off the time. And I invite you to do that because so often we don't think we have the time, or we're so busy, or whatever it is that we're choosing. And yet part of that comfort is knowing that we are allowed to have it ourselves. We are allowed to experience the day the way we want to experience the day. Or at least make choices in the moment. So this past, I think it was Friday, my children have chances to go on field trips, so I block off the time to go with them. And, we just have the greatest, they especially, I love watching them, the greatest time ever. And somebody said to me recently, how lucky it is you get to do that. And I went, I don't know. Is it lucky or is it choice? Because I got thinking that when I did have even a 9-to-5 gig and was in the classroom all the time, and as a classroom teacher, I don't know that my older two that were in that form of my life with me, that I didn't block off time there too. So I actually went back and I did. I mean, I just did it. So I think it's choices. And maybe it's not children for you. My choice was the children. But maybe it's to make sure you go out and look. The leaves are gorgeous right now. To go out and look at the leaves, or to sit in the sun, or you know what? Have the donut. Just eat it already. You know, not the whole box, but, you know, let yourself experience. Don't wait until you get the diagnosis to choose that, or your version of the diagnosis. It's you know, why wait till then? So I'll leave you with I guess I'll leave you with that. I went through all my notes. Thought there was more, but I guess not. Just you know what? Just be. And if nothing else, and allow other people to be. Thank you.